In this demonstration, we'll show how NextLabs Rights Management extension for Solid Edge delivers persistent data protection, enabling secure collaboration with partners and across multi-level supply chains. NextLabs Rights Management extension, or RMX, integrates seamlessly with Siemens Solid Edge, providing advanced rights protection features such as access control, only authorized users can open protected files, usage control, permissions define what actions users can take, such as view, print, or edit, anti-screen capture, blocking unauthorized screen grabs, and dynamic watermarking, overlaying watermarks with policy-defined text. For this demo, we'll use two users, Jimmy Carter, a US citizen, and James Polk, a Canadian citizen. We define a classification attribute called Gov classification with two labels, confidential and secret. 3 policies are configured. 1. US citizens have full permission on parts labeled confidential. 2. Canadian citizens can view parts labeled confidential. And 3. US citizens can view parts labeled secret. In the Active Directory, both users are registered. The citizenship attribute is mapped to the country attribute in TcDRM RMS admin console. These policies are then enforced based on classification and user attributes. Now, let's get into use case 1, access and usage control for US users on a part with confidential label. I log into Team Center as Jimmy Carter and log in to TcDRM Desktop for Windows RMD as Jimmy Carter as well. He has full permissions on files labeled confidential. The government classification attribute on this part in Team Center is set to confidential. I open the part in Team Center with Solid Edge by clicking the Solid Edge icon. Here, I also log into Solid Edge as Jimmy Carter. The part is opened in Solid Edge with the watermark. I can capture the screen because Jimmy Carter has the full permission on the part. Jimmy Carter can print the part into a PDF file. Let's go to the workspace in the local drive. I check the file info on the protected part with RMD. Jimmy Carter has full permissions on the part. In use case 2, I will log into Team Center as Jimmy Carter and log into TcDRM Desktop for Windows RMD as Jimmy Carter as well. I will open an assembly with Solid Edge. Some parts in the assembly have government classification attribute set to confidential, while other parts in the assembly have the government classification attribute set to secret. The rest of the parts in the assembly have not set the government classification attribute. Here, I open the assembly which displays the watermark. When I try to capture the screen, I get a black screen because Jimmy Carter does not have screen capture permissions on the protected part files. Now, when I try to print the assembly, I get error messages saying operation denied because Jimmy Carter does not have print permissions on the protected part files. I open a part in a new window of Solid Edge. Since Jimmy Carter did not have edit permission on this protected part, he gets the message, "You don't have permission to perform edit/save operations," when he tries to save the part. I open another part in a new window of Solid Edge. Since Jimmy Carter has edit permissions on the protected part files, I can edit and save it. I close the Solid Edge application and clean out the local cache. I open the same assembly again with Solid Edge from Teamcenter. We can see the assembly with the updated part last time. I go to the workspace in the local drive and check the file info of the files with RMD. Jimmy Carter has full permissions on the files with government classification set to confidential, and has view permissions on the files with government classification set to secret. Some files are not protected by TcDRM because they don't have government classification attributes set in Teamcenter. In use case 3, I log into Teamcenter as James Polk and log into TcDRM Desktop for Windows as James Polk as well. Let's check the government classification on some parts in Teamcenter. Some parts in the assembly have government classification attributes set to confidential, while other parts have this attribute set to secret. The rest of the parts in the assembly have not set government classification attribute. I open the assembly with Solid Edge. The assembly is displayed partially in Solid Edge with the watermark. James Polk does not have view permissions on protected files with government classification set to secret. The parts with government classification set to secret in the assembly are therefore not shown in Solid Edge. I go to the workspace in the local drive and check the file info of the files with RMD. James Polk has view permissions on the files with government classification set to confidential and has no permissions on the files with the government classification set to secret. Some files are not protected by TcDRM because they don't have government classifications attributes set in the Teamcenter. Thank you for watching this demo. For more videos like this, please subscribe to the NextLabs YouTube channel.